So what is a key and crucial factor in growing and maintaining your customer base in today's day and age?
That's a great question, Lyndon, and that's what we're going to find out over the next 30 minutes and really bridge this topic of know your customers.
I'm Lyndon Smith, and as you've probably seen in the video before, I've been in boots on the ground sales for 20 years.
And I'm Steve Krebs, the co-founder of Machines for You. I've been in the industry of selling capital equipment for now 25 years and running Machines for You for the last 13. So we've learned a lot of tricks and tribulations and things along that journey that we'd love to share with you over the next few years. So it's exciting today to do our first show for you steel pushers out there and start bridging some of these really important topics in the industry.
That's it, Steve. So today on Steel Pushers, the topic we're focusing on is keeping in touch with your customers. It's a crucial factor in as I said before, growing, maintaining your customer base in today's day and age, the digital space, which is where we live and breathe.
Yeah, well, it's such a good topic to start with because there's just, you know, your existing customers are just so important, and so many businesses put so much energy and effort into doing the right things by their customers. They, you know, have great service departments and parts departments, good personnel in their businesses, and then in some areas like digital marketing, they're dropping the ball a bit, and there's opportunities there to be able to, you know, keep in touch with your customers better and put your brands and products in front of the market.
So let's touch on something pretty important first, which is what we've seen especially in the digital space, but over time it's the changes in modes of communication. So it's been pretty massive. We've come a long way from when really you and I started, Steve, with boots on the ground sales.
Yeah, well, it was back to, you know, you start back at the old caveman days carrying the club around and you know, we were the next step along from there, I think, where I was taught from the old school. You know, I had a sales manager who was, you know, get out of bed at 6:30 in the morning and out to your first customer by 7:30. So I was brought up old school. I did it the hard yards. I drove around, seeing all these different customers, you know, selling them machinery. And then it developed over the years from there.
Yeah, that's right. It's where we got our chops, being on foot, and then it moved on to the telex. I'm a bit young for that one, but the fax machine was huge as well.
Yeah, well, the fax machine, that was a big, you know, tool that they used, because selling parts and what have you, how did you get those big long part numbers out to everyone? So, you know, there used to be a lot of faxes backwards and forwards and circling things and trying to get on the same page effectively.
Yeah, that's
but
it.
it worked back in that time, you know.
Yeah, that's right. After the fax machine, it was probably your Yellow Pages is a massive. You didn't have a business if you didn't have a Yellow Pages ad.
Well, that's it, you know, the Yellow Pages, they owned the space for a long time, didn't they? And you all started with your quarter page ads, and then before you knew it, the guy had sold you a whole page ad. They were big, thick, and then all of a sudden they became a bit of a computer prop-up book, and you know, blocking up the stairways in all these businesses out there.
That's it. And then it was the Bibles, as you guys out there pushing steel have called them, the industry mags.
Industry mags, these, you know, yeah, the Bible, as you said, it worked so well for so long. And then, you know, when I started this 13 years ago, I've seen industry magazines go from 650 pages down to, you know, unfortunately some of them non-existent, but some of them being wrapped up into other magazines. You know, it's
not
a thing of the past in
right,
some sense.
They're not where they used to be, no. And the internet, you know, the internet came along. That was, you guys packed it. Everyone had to go out and hire a web developer.
Yeah, this was a good
Flash
one.
animation.
This was a good one, you know, because everyone went out there and said, you've got to have these websites, you know, and everyone was like, God, quick, let's talk to a designer. And they had tractors jumping across the front. They had trucks driving across the front.
Yeah.
But then the old $100 question, they were having these websites online, and then it was like, how do we get customers to them?
Yeah.
We missed the conversation there.
And then Uncle Google made that all possible.
Yeah.
So, and from there, and now with Google being so dominant, obviously dominating the space, it's the mobile device is now king. It's where most marketing's being viewed. What was the stat that we've got currently running for Machines for You on how much is viewed on a mobile device?
Oh, we're in the 60% now of mobile device. You know, business isn't 9 to 5 anymore. There's so many leads and people online after hours when all the sales guys are gone home. You know, on the weekend, 25% of our leads go through on a Saturday, Sunday, which amazes me, and that's growing over the last 12 years, and it's only keep going more so. I mean, we're all, you know, we've got these smartphones, we're driving around in the car, and you look at the lights, and there's someone sitting next to you going, Jesus, hang on, he's on his phone there. He's sharing the same road as me.
Yeah, that's it. But it's how dominant they are now as well. And guys, I mean, some of you guys out there right now are probably watching it on a mobile device. And by the way, don't be afraid to ask a question. It's why we do it live, and it's pretty easy on your mobile device these days to do that. So, but there's a big factor in what we've noticed in actual B2B marketing. There's a stat from a survey that you found.
Yeah, our team, you know, chased the survey that had already gone on, and it was 49% of business-to-business marketers surveyed was still saying email is one of the best sales tools for return on investment.
Yeah, that's right. It's surprising how high up the list it is when you look at that graph that you guys could probably see on the screen. It's above content marketing. It's above social media, and social media is still massive, but it's still down there at the 20% mark, I think.
Yeah, well, that's how good it is, because it gets to the person when they want the content.
That's right.
You know, it's why they're, you know, at home tonight at 9 o'clock tonight, opening their emails there. They do it in their space. They're wanting to consume really good content, and as long as we're clever in the way we send them that content, that's what's going to get the great results. So, and that's why it's working so well.
Yeah, that's right. Big question a lot of people have too, and one thing we like to ask a lot of people is how big they think their email marketing database is. And we had an interesting experience recently at the Tractor and Machinery Association conference. I think you got a few people to hold their hands up. What was the number that we got to?
It was an interesting one. So yeah, I just put it out to the room, and there was about 120 people in the room. You know, and I started at 500, went to 1,000, 2,000 database, and that a lot of people in the room had their hand up. When you start getting to 3,000, still once you get over 5,000 database, there was a lot of people putting down their hands. But then there was a few in the room got up to 10,000, 20,000 plus.
That's it.
And this was a really interesting one, because I said to the rest of the room, I asked them the question, what's the chances that one of your customers is on that guy with over 20,000 database?
Spot on, and that brings us to our next point and why that's so important. Your database can be massive. You could be that guy with a 20,000 strong email database, but it's only yours when you're emailing them.
Yeah, such an important point, Lyndon. It's really important to be keeping in touch. We all got a good understanding of capital equipment buying cycle is 120 days, somewhere around there on average. So you've got to be in touch with your customers at the right point when they're running through that buying cycle. And you guys, all your steel pushers out there, you've got a fair idea of this, but I hear some things in the industry where people are saying, people aren't as brand loyal anymore as they used to be. I think that's a bit true, but I think people can be doing things better to keep in touch with their customers better, and hence that's what this conversation was about today.
Yeah, that's right. And a really interesting stat that we found as well came from the Manifest Email Marketing Survey in 2018 was that over 30% of businesses aren't actually doing email marketing, and then even those that are, those who are doing it don't do it regularly. Don't get me wrong, the guys that are doing it well, the 70%, there's probably quite a few of you guys watching today, which is why you're in the digital space and checking this show out. But it's interesting to know that such a large portion of the B2B market isn't even doing it.
Yeah, well, we took it a step further than that, because it was we just kept hearing this. The more our account managers went out and talking to all the machinery dealers across Australia, you know, so many people wanted to be doing it, but they weren't. So we dug in a bit more and really got the feedback. And there's 5 things that we found why people aren't doing this email marketing. Number 1, it's the old time poor thing.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many roles now and so many businesses. We're so under-resourced, time poor because people have got so many hats. You know, some people are running between 3 or 4 different hats for one role nowadays.
Well, you only need to think of yourselves, guys, out there. You might be looking after your sales team, then, you know, deliberating with your marketing team, getting into your conference meetings with big clients. You do so much. There's so much on your plate. And to just throw another thing in like email marketing, it just might not be feasible. You're just that time poor.
I know another really good reason too, because you're going to do it today, and then lo and behold, the phone goes.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're onto a sale. Of course, you're going to drop that email marketing thing if you were the person responsible for the sales and the marketing.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden it turns into tomorrow, and then it turns into next week and the month after, and you know the story.
Yep. Next thing you know, the last email you sent was Christmas 2017.
Yeah.
So you could look. Another big factor is a lack of resources in the ability to actually do it, and even having the staff that have the skill to get it done, or finding the time to train the staff so that they've got those skills.
Yeah, well, digital marketing, there's so many different areas just within digital marketing, and, you know, we've got to gear our people up to specialize in the areas that we choose to do. It's so easy just to think we're going to do these 25 different things in marketing, and it's like, well, hang on a sec, which ones are getting the results? So let's sort of trim it back a bit, have less topics, but do the topics even better. And part of that is upskilling your people.
Yeah.
We've found that to be really successful here. We've got dedicated people to do it. That's where we got the best result.
Yeah, that's right. Another factor is that it's just too hard to do it consistently. We touched on it briefly right at the start, where you might plan to do an email a month,
Yep.
an email a week. Suddenly that one you wanted to do every month turns into once every couple of months, or every so often, or whenever you can find the time. Consistency is really powerful, and it does end up in a lot of businesses. It's just too hard to find the time to do it consistently.
Yeah, the hard comes along because it's, you know, there mightn't be a very good system. There mightn't be the person trained. You know, you might have to get the content from someone. You might have to get the offer from someone else. There's quite a few things to put together. But once you actually narrow it down and have a clearer, simpler system, then it becomes less hard.
Yeah, that's right. Next, this is a huge one. This is something Steve's definitely got personal experience in quite recently. It's the disconnect between your sales and your marketing team.
Yeah, this was an interesting one, and we've had these times in our business where we had the sales, you know, and the marketing over here, and you know, it was just about like there was 2 different groups working for 2 different companies, and it was like, nah, I'm done with this. So we've thrown that all out. We've got one department now, and the one department is the Get More Sales department. And that's the marketing people, it's the SEO people, it's the sales people. There's no blaming, it's all one, and it works a treat.
And the other big one, it's the most obvious one generally, is you've had poor results from giving it a go in the past and you've been burnt. You don't want to do it again. You know, getting poor results in the past can be a big deciding factor in a lot of people's future email marketing.
This one usually shows up at the accountant, you know, and the old accountant says, how are we going and what are we going to chop back?
Yeah, that's it.
And, you know, and someone says, oh, we gave that email marketing thing a go, and next move he gets the chop because the accountant says, what was the result?
So we just found it doesn't need to be that hard.
Our sales guys go out and see a lot of customers, and a lot of the businesses wanted to do email marketing because they knew it would be good for their business. They weren't doing it because they were really time poor. In just 60 seconds, you can choose your list, choose your machines, and click send. It's that simple.
Your sales team can use Machine Mail to leverage their customer databases, creating on-brand emails that go out to their clients in a matter of minutes, producing instant sales leads for your company.
There's a lot of our customers out there who are sending emails who have had to learn along as they go, and they've learned the hard way. Sometimes it's losing some of their database. Sometimes it's getting blacklisted because they've been sending the wrong information at the wrong times.
The Machine Mail system handles all of the unsubscribes from your database to make sure your company complies with email marketing regulations.
Email marketing, it can be a bit of a minefield. There is so many different boxes that you need to tick and get right.
Another great feature of Machine Mail is it lets you schedule emails up to 2 weeks in advance, so you can organise your email marketing well ahead of time. The heart of any good e-marketing software is the client email lists. We've made it simple and easy to manage your lists and segment them by location, by brand, by customer type, so you can get the right equipment to the right clients at the right time. The other half of email marketing is interpreting the stats and reporting. So we make sure for every email you send through Machine Mail, you get 2 stats reports. They'll show you how many clients you sent the email to, who unsubscribed, who bounced, who opened it, but most importantly, which customers clicked on which machine of interest. And that's what you need to know. To leverage your marketing team and get more out of your sales team than you ever thought possible, speak to one of our account managers now about Machine Mail or visit machinemail.com.au.
Welcome back from the break. Guys, thanks for sticking with us. And as well, we do know that those comments are coming through. It's great to see a couple of questions. We're definitely going to do a bit of Q&A at the end, so stay tuned. We'll get to those questions for you shortly. But like I said before we threw to the break, is that we genuinely believe email marketing doesn't need to be that hard. There's 3 key things or 3 key questions you guys can ask yourselves, the business, to get the ball rolling. The first one you want to focus on is, where is your database? And we get a question heaps, or we get the statement back when we ask this question is, I don't have one.
Yeah, we talk to a lot of different size companies across the industry, and you know, there's so many we've found that just say, you know, oh, we haven't really got a database. And it's like, well, you know, they've been in business 15 years and they're telling us they ain't got a database. Let me tell you, everybody's got a database. Whether it's 100 customers, 300 customers, 2,000 customers, they're all your customers. They are your database. You know, your sales guys are sending out emails all the time. You've got your database in there. It's very easy to extract from your email systems. You know, you've got your CRMs. You know, a lot of you steel pushers out there have set up good CRMs and you've got your data sitting there well. Others, you know, you can get them out of your QuickBooks and your accounting systems.
Oh, your Outlook, your Gmail, your MyOb, your CRM, whatever you've got going. If you've ever invoiced someone via email, you've got their details. You know, your previous customers, future prospects. There is a way to pull that data. And a good question to ask is, you know, regardless of the system you're using, ask somebody for help to extract that data. I know we do it for a lot of our members. We give them a real helping hand on extracting those email addresses. It's easier than you might think. The next step is using that database really, really well, and that's segmenting it.
Yeah, this is one of the most important things to consider when doing email marketing well, is the segmentation. You know, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. There's the localization way. You know, imagine, you know, as there is a drought in North Queensland, or on the reverse of that, when they go and have the floods and you sell generators, well, you can hit that database by localization, by an area. The other way to do it is to do it by product type. You know, if they're into the big yellow, you know, you don't want to be sending them that small gear. So keep your customers, you know, if they're into the big machinery, do it by product type, categories, and then the other big way is by your sales reps when they're going out doing trips.
Yeah, definitely leverage your sales staff. If you've got a team of 4 different sales guys looking after 4 different patches, whether it be one's B2B, one's B2C, another one's industrial, another one's whatever it may be, you can leverage your sales team to make sure your database is segmented that way. The final big thing, and it's a huge one, is to respect your database.
Yeah, I've seen some interesting ones on this one over the years. We had a guy who, I think he'd had a few sherries on Friday night and started emailing everyone at 10 p.m. on a Friday night. Sent out his email, you know, 11:30, 12:30, he was still sending out emails to his customers. And it was like on the Monday, I had to call him up and go, mate, you just can't be doing that. Quite a few spelling mistakes and quite a few interesting offers, I'd suggest.
Yeah, well, even a good way to sort of look at it and how you should respect your database is if you don't want to receive 15 emails from your suppliers, don't send your customer base 15 emails in the space of a week. You know, be mindful of how you market to your own database. But then you move on to a really key point, and it's not only getting the results in once you've done that marketing, but it's using that data effectively is crucial.
Yeah, this is where a lot of the gold is. The data nowadays that you actually get, it's going to show you so much. It's going to tell you whether you're sending the right products, the wrong products. It's going to tell you how good your database is. But what it lets you do is find out what's working well so that you can do more for it. You know, I went to a conference about 5 years ago where there was a really good keynote speaker, and he was from Vino Mofo, and he talked about red wine and white wine. And I was like, what's this guy talking about? And he's like, if people like red wine, keep sending them more red wine.
That's it.
Don't send them the white wine if they don't like it, Lyndon.
Yeah, well, look, I can give you guys a really good example. So what I'm showing you here is one of our members who's using our email marketing system, MachineMail. So, of course, you get the standard reporting here, the delivery rates, bounce rates, unsubscribes, the open rates and click-throughs as well. He's got a great open rate there. But more importantly, it's going to show him how many times a particular machine or product has been clicked on. So if we focus here on the Caterpillar, 25 times that machine's been clicked on. But not only that, we can show him who's actually clicked on that machine and how many times as well. The reason that data is so important is if you've got 25 unique email addresses, all interested or at least showing an interest in that Caterpillar, you're not going to follow up with another email a couple of weeks later to those 25 guys with an ad for a skid steer.
Yeah.
He's looking at Big Yellow, as you said. If you like red wine, if they like red wine, send them red wine. He's looking at Big Yellow. Send him Big Yellow. If he's looking at a dozer, maybe even send attachments for a dozer.
Yeah, send him parts. But this is where you can start working it on a bit of a campaign basis, because you know what the guy's looking for, so you can choose whether you put it to a sales team. 25 customers are easy to call around and just say, have you got any, you know, more requests? Do you need more information? You had a good look at the loader. Is there anything else you need? Or you, as you say, you do a follow-up email, but you give them a specific offer for that type of machinery.
Yeah, whether it be a finance offer, whether it be a package deal, you might have something that you can, I mean, if you're going with mini excavators or mini loaders or anything like that, if a trailer comes with it as well, do package deals. But cater your product emails, and we can't stress enough, product emails, to the market that's looking at them.
Yeah, it's really good, really important point. We have found over, you know, we've been doing emails quite well now for probably a good 9-10 years, but product emails in the machinery world work really well. Yes, we've all got these nice newsletters and keeping people up to date, but they are business owners. They are B2B. They want to solve a problem in their business and have it machinery related, parts related, hire, you know, whatever else is based around the capital equipment.
That's right. I mean, you could be marketing to a guy who's growing his business and he's decided, I'm not only going to do earth moving now, I'm going to add another factor or another stage to my business growth, and he might need new attachments for his machinery to accomplish that. He might need additional machines to accomplish that. So be really aware of what your database is looking at, be really aware of what your customer base is looking at, and make sure you stay on point and stay consistent. Which brings us to our next point, and this is hugely important, is that consistency is key.
Yeah, and this is all about brand. This is all about consistency. You know, it's like the old gym analogy, isn't it, Lyndon? You know, when you go and sign up for the gym and you go along 2 or 3 times and then you're done for the rest of your life, you're fit and healthy.
Yeah, that doesn't work. Thanks for that, by the way. Nice dig. I'm trying to get fit and I've been a bit slack.
But it is about consistency.
It really is, yeah. If you've got a good analogy I like to use is if you go and tell I'm sure so many of you guys out there pushing steel have got kids. If you go and tell your son, 6-year-old, to do something, and then follow up in 6 months, you think he's going to keep doing it if you haven't reinforced the issue? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
When you're sending emails, send them on time every time. If you've decided I'm going to do an email every week, do it every week. If you're going to do it every month, do it every month. But a good key thing to really take into mind is start small. Don't go hard out and blast your database as much as you possibly can. Start with once a month or once a quarter, and build from there. Get your database used to seeing your emails.
Hey Lyndon, the time's flying by, but we've got a couple of questions here. Can we fire a few?
Yeah, sure. So Paul Barker has asked, what are the do's and don'ts for subject lines in an email?
Oh, that's a great question, actually. We've even got a bit of a guide in the Machine Mail system that shows you that kind of stuff. So a good one, all capitals. We see it all the time.
Don't do that. Number one thing, don't do that. That's shouting really loudly.
Your cheese words. So free. Sale.
Yeah.
All of these are the kinds of things that are going to get flagged in your spam filters. Yeah.
Cool. So we've got another one from Applied Machinery, and they've just asked, in your experience, what time or day of the week seems to be best for results for your campaigns?
It's a really interesting one, this, and our team plays with this one quite regularly. I think at the moment they're up to Wednesday afternoon around 4 p.m, is it?
Yeah, so a lot of you guys will actually get these emails, so you'll see that we're pretty damn consistent there. Wednesday between 3:30 and 4:30 p.m, you'll start seeing our emails, and that's where we stick to, and in the machinery game that seems to work really well.
It was a Tuesday at one point, so it keeps moving around. I like to think of it, catch someone in the morning or catch someone in the afternoon.
Yeah, that's right.
There's two different types of people out there too. So mix it up a little bit between times, but they've found Wednesday's the day.
Yeah, Wednesday's the day in the afternoon.
Got another one from Earth Machinery Used Sales. They've said, "G'day boys, doing a great job. Is there any way us dealers can access average sell prices on previously sold machinery?"
Through our system, that's not something you're probably going to see, but a good way to do it is just to focus on and don't get us wrong, trawl every marketplace you can find. Look at the average sale price, find who else is selling machinery that's similar to yours, and see what the market's doing.
Yeah, I like the idea. And it has come up before, so who knows in the future, but great question.
Yep. And guys, just so you guys know, every question that was read out live on air today is actually going to receive a Steel Pushers prize pack.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, so,
wow, you didn't let me know about that one.
No, that was a bit of a surprise. Yeah. So there'll be a prize pack coming to the owners of the 3 questions that have come through. Look, the good thing is, guys, and we want to keep this feedback rolling, and it's why we asked for the comments in the subscription when you guys were signing up to watch the show. We are going to cover additional topics in future episodes, and we want to make sure that you get as much input as we can possibly manage.
Yeah, well, the show's here for everyone, and we really appreciate everyone logging in today and finding out what it's all about. We're going to bring some really interesting people. We've got some lined up. Where I'm going to be interviewing some really interesting characters out of the industry. Hey, and if you think you're one, let us know. We'd love to have you on the show. Yeah. And we'd love to hear what type of topics you would also like to talk about for the future. But next topic in 2 weeks' time is all about used machinery and how to sell more of it in this digital space.
In the digital world, that's it. So, well, look, guys, in summary today, we've really focused on making sure that you stay consistent with your marketing, that you make sure it's on brand, that you make sure you use the data that you collect really effectively. Don't be afraid to segment those databases, but also go looking, have the conversation. Start the conversation about getting into your email marketing.
Yeah, and just remember that stat of 49% of decent marketers around the world have said, email marketing is still one of the strongest return on investment.
Yeah,
that's
right.
a really important slide for me because, in fairness, we let that drop down a little bit ahead of other things. But once we understood that and then actually mastered what we were doing instead of just dabbling in it, You know, quite often in business, it's the last 5% that really gives us the results. And that determines whether we're going to get a good outcome or not. So give it everything. You know, if you need to talk to some of our account managers, happy to help, but just go back, have the conversations, find some good companies to help you, you know, really get ahead in this digital marketing world.
Ask the question. Thanks for joining us, guys. It's been fantastic. Don't forget to tune in a fortnight's time where we have our next episode speaking about used machinery. Remember, subscribe, hit that notification button. We'll see you next time on Steel Pushers.
Thanks, Steel Pushers.